It's late at night, and a young woman finally leaves work after staying late. She sees a taxi, but a group of guys gets it first, so she has to walk home. While walking down a dark street, a van stops next to her. The driver, Do-shik, offers her a ride, but she says no because she doesn't want to go with a stranger. As she keeps walking, she hears strange noises behind her. Worried, she turns around and sees the van door open. Someone is crying and asking for help. She carefully goes closer to check, but all she finds is some clothes and a man's dead body. Suddenly, Do-shik grabs her. He was the one making those noises to trick her. He drags her into the van, planning to kill her. Later, Do-shik, wearing clean clothes, calls the police and acts shocked when they arrive. He lies and says he found the bodies and saw some workers hurt the woman. The police believe him because they have no reason to doubt him. A few days later, Kyung-mi, a young deaf woman, is at work doing customer service. She talks to other deaf people using sign language on video calls. Even though she's nice, some people are rude to her. After work, she goes to a company dinner, but since she's deaf, she can't join in the talking. The men at the table think they can talk about her because she can't hear, but what they don't know is she can read lips. She secretly signs back rude comments at them, but they think she's being polite. After dinner, Kyung-mi picks up her deaf mom from her job at a tailor shop. On their way home, Kyung-mi saves her mom from being hit by a bike because her car has a sound sensor. Her mom is happy because she got paid well and tells Kyung-mi they can finally take a beach vacation they've been dreaming about. In another part of the city, So-jung is getting ready for a night out. Her brother, Jong-tak, is a security guard and is very protective of her because their parents died. He argues with her about her outfit and tells her to come home at a certain time. So-jung promises to behave, but once she's out, she ignores his texts and stays out late. When she doesn't answer her phone, Jong-tak gets worried and goes to find her. Meanwhile, it's late and Do-shik is looking for another victim. He sees Kyung-mi dropping off her mom near an alarm post while she goes to park her car. Do-shik starts following Kyung-mi, but gets distracted when So-jung walks down the same street. He switches targets and attacks So-jung. Kyung-mi's mom doesn't notice because she's walking the other way and can't hear anything. Do-shik tries to go after Kyung-mi's mom, but Jong-tak shows up, worried, asking if she's seen his sister. She says no, and he leaves to keep searching. Kyung-mi comes back from parking and sees something strange, a white shoe sticking out of a dark alley. She gets a bad feeling, and when she sees a second shoe, she knows something is wrong. She goes into the alley and finds So-jung, who is hurt and crying for help. But before Kyung-mi can do anything, Do-shik shows up with an axe. So-jung pushes him, letting Kyung-mi run away. Kyung-mi runs back to the street but makes a hard decision to go in the opposite direction to protect her mom. She hides in the parking lot, trying to escape. She reaches the back door, but it has a squeaky handle, so she tries to open it quietly. Do-shik hears her and starts chasing her, but she gets through the door just in time. The door has a chain, so it can't open fully, but Kyung-mi is small enough to slip through. Do-shik, being bigger, can't follow. Kyung-mi runs to her car and calls her mom, telling her to wait by the alarm post. But as soon as she hangs up, she sees Do-shik in the back seat holding a knife. He forces her to drive, but Kyung-mi speeds toward a wall and slams the brakes, stopping just before crashing. This gives her the chance to escape. She runs again, and just as Do-shik catches up, she reaches her mom. When Kyung-mi presses the alarm button, Do-shik has to stay away. While they wait for the police, he goes back to his van and hides So-jung's body inside. Do-shik then changes his clothes and hairstyle to look like a normal businessman. He walks up to Kyung-mi and her mom, pretending he's looking for his sister. Kyung-mi doesn't recognize him because he was wearing a mask and hat before. She believes his story and is about to show him the alley where she found So-jung when the police arrive. But when the officer checks the alley, it's empty. Kyung-mi wants to see the security camera footage, but the parking lot guard says the cameras were turned off by some kids who hang out there. With no evidence, they all go to the police station to make a report. In the station's elevator, Do-shik looks at the weapons in his bag and keeps staring at Kyung-mi and her mom. Kyung-mi's mom notices and thinks Do-shik doesn't seem as worried as someone looking for a missing sister should be. To keep his lie going, Do-shik pulls out a black phone and pretends to get a text from his sister, acting relieved that she's okay, which suggests the body Kyung-mi saw wasn't her. After Kyung-mi finishes her statement, the officer says there's not much they can do without more evidence. Do-shik tries to help but gets scolded by the cop. Then a homeless man who was sleeping nearby insults Do-shik for being rude. Do-shik takes the chance to walk over to the water cooler and while getting a cup, mutters an insult at the homeless man. The man gets mad and attacks Do-shik. During the fight, Do-shik drops a white phone. Kyung-mi's mom picks it up, but Do-shik quickly grabs it back before anyone notices anything odd. Do-shik then sneaks a look at Kyung-mi's statement, secretly getting her personal details. Kyung-mi's mom signs to her that it's strange for Do-shik to have two phones. When Do-shik notices them signing, he demands to know what they're talking about. Kyung-mi writes nothing, but Do-shik isn't convinced. He gets closer to her mom, checking his bag of weapons, thinking about what to do next. Just then, a cop arrives with Jong-tak, who is trying to report his missing sister. The officer suggests showing the photo to Kyung-mi, her mom, and Do-shik, as it matches the girl Kyung-mi saw. Do-shik pretends he doesn't know So-jung, but Kyung-mi recognizes her immediately. She gives Jong-tak her statement to read and tries to give more details. However, the cop leaves to handle the homeless man who's trying to come back in. While the cop is gone, Do-shik whispers a threat to Kyung-mi's mom. If she moves, he'll kill Kyung-mi. He pulls out a knife from his bag and moves toward Kyung-mi. But Kyung-mi's mom makes a loud noise, catching Jong-tak's attention. Jong-tak turns around just in time and stops Do-shik's attack, leading to a fierce fight between them. As they fight, the women run outside to call for help. During the fight, Do-shik admits he hurt So-jung, which makes Jong-tak really angry. He beats Do-shik badly and grabs the knife, holding it to Do-shik's neck, demanding to know where his sister is. Before he can get an answer, the police come back. Do-shik quickly pretends to be the victim. With Jong-tak holding the knife, the officers believe Do-shik's story and arrest Jong-tak instead. While Do-shik walks free, the police take Kyung-mi and her mom's story more seriously after checking the security cameras. They let Jong-tak go, and he goes back to searching for his sister. The police escort Kyung-mi and her mom to their apartment, which has flashing lights to signal any movement. As they settle in with some tea, the lights start blinking, showing someone is at the door. They're uneasy because it's so late, but it's just the mother's co-worker who has come to pick up some bags. The two elderly women leave together, leaving Kyung-mi alone in the apartment. Unbeknownst to her, Do-shik has already arrived and disabled the sensor outside, so the lights don't warn her that he's there. Kyung-mi notices the lights blinking in her house and goes to check. Do-shik uses an alarm clock to distract her, making her think the blinking lights were caused by the alarm. After she goes back to her room, Do-shik disables the rest of the sensors. Kyung-mi texts Jong-tak, who had given her his number earlier. Meanwhile, Do-shik grabs an axe and gets ready to attack. Kyung-mi notices a toy on her dresser moving, even though the lights haven't blinked. Realizing something's wrong, she dodges Do-shik's attack and runs into another room, blocking the door with a dresser. She texts Jong-tak to tell him the killer is inside and warns her mom not to come back. But she soon gets a text saying her mom is already home and found the door open. Scared for her mother, Kyung-mi starts moving the dresser to go help, but notices that the texts have perfect spelling, something her mom can't do. Kyung-mi realizes Do-shik has her phone. She stops moving the dresser, just as Do-shik appears in the door gap. He tries to grab her, but Kyung-mi locks the door. Do-shik starts hacking at the door with his axe. Desperate, Kyung-mi jumps out the window. Do-shik catches her by the hair, but she struggles free and lands safely on a trash pile. She starts running with Do-shik chasing her. Jong-tak joins the chase and eventually corners Kyung-mi in a dead-end area. Do-shik threatens to kill himself with his knife, forcing Jong-tak to choose between saving So-jung or Kyung-mi. Jong-tak chooses to go to the address Do-shik gave him, Kyung-mi's house. When Jong-tak arrives, he finds the house empty and meets Kyung-mi's mother instead. Meanwhile, Kyung-mi tries to use a chair from the trash to defend herself, but Do-shik grabs it and pins her down. While he taunts Jong-tak over the phone, Kyung-mi throws dirt in Do-shik's face. Distracted, Do-shik lets go, and Kyung-mi runs away. At the street near Do-shik's van, Kyung-mi sees So-jung stumbling out, holding a knife and begging for help. Kyung-mi and So-jung hide behind a trash container. Kyung-mi tells So-jung to call her brother for help. Kyung-mi takes the knife, and as Do-shik gets closer, Kyung-mi makes loud noises and shakes a metal shutter to distract him. She threatens to kill herself, making Do-shik furious. He charges at her, and Kyung-mi presses the alarm on a nearby pole and runs, restarting the chase. So-jung calls her brother, telling him which way Kyung-mi went. Jong-tak and Kyung-mi's mom follow the ambulance to find her. Kyung-mi heads to downtown, hoping the crowds will help her evade Do-shik. She struggles to cross a busy street and finally makes it to a commercial area. Trying to ask for help, she's ignored because she can't speak. Do-shik catches up and she pulls out the knife to defend herself. People form a circle around them. A man tries to call the police, but Do-shik stops him, saying Kyung-mi is his mentally ill sister and warning that the cops might scare her. Kyung-mi uses this distraction to run away, but the police catch her soon after and bring her back to Do-shik, believing his story. They even return the knife to him. Once the police leave, Kyung-mi pleads with Do-shik not to kill her, saying she has a lot to live for. Do-shik drags her into a nearby alley, preparing to stab her. Luckily, Jong-tak arrives just in time and the two men start fighting. Jong-tak gets Do-shik in a chokehold until he passes out. Jong-tak then checks on Kyung-mi, telling her So-jung is safe and her mom is nearby. But Do-shik wasn't really unconscious. He attacks Jong-tak with bottles and trash. Kyung-mi grabs the knife to help, but Do-shik decides to go after her mother instead. Do-shik finds Kyung-mi's mother and tries to lure her into an alley. Kyung-mi sees them and runs after him with the knife. She pretends Do-shik attacked her, which makes the crowd step back. The police arrive, firing warning shots. Do-shik keeps coming, so they shoot him a few times. So-jung arrives and tackles Do-shik, ending the nightmare. Days later, Kyung-mi and her mother go to the beach, joined by So-jung and Jong-tak. They show off their new sign language skills and take a picture together, enjoying their peace.